Hello, headphone mixers. My name is Paul Third, and that man across from me is Emrah Celik, an award-winning mix and mastering engineer with over 3 billion streams to his name, with over 90% of those coming from headphones. Now, we're going to do a very unique video. I don't know if nobody has done this. I think people have made Hifiman tier videos, but none for mixing at all. We're Hifiman fanboys, right? Emrah got me into Hifiman a long time ago. And by the way, this isn't sponsored. I've not been paid to do this at all. Just a video I've always wanted to make because we own so many Hifimans. Now, we're going to do a tier system, but we're going to do it differently. I've got it on my phone here so I don't forget, right? So, many people do the A, B, C, D, F, S tier, right? So we're going to try and fit into that mold, but kind of give you a little bit more of an understanding, because I do feel that it's very nonsensical what the audio files do. A lot of it doesn't make sense. So, A is going to be an all-rounder. B is going to be what we class as honest. C, limited translation. D, poor translation. And F, do not recommend whatsoever. And our S tier is going to be endgame. But I'm going to tell you now, for something to be S tier, it's going to need to tick nearly all the boxes. There is no such thing as a perfect pair of headphones. So the end games, the S tiers, are going to be like your top of the trees. So let's start bottom, working up, right? We'll start budget and we'll get more expensive, because we have used a lot of Hifiman. So the cheapest that we've got, and I think the cheapest that Hifiman do, maybe I'm wrong, is the HE400 SE, that one right there. So let's think about certain things that we like and we kind of dislike about it. So in regards to comfort, headband is horrible. We're going to get into this with Edition XS as well. It's one of the worst headbands I've ever had to deal with, ever, in headphones. Is there any other headband on any other headphone, Emrah, that you find is worse than these?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few, but I just don't want to name them. It's just the topic is Hifiman.
Right, okay.
We are rating Hifimans, right?
Yeah, so, yeah, the headband is a no-go. So, however, right, I'll get this here, right, because I will get into it at one point, right?
Yeah, but that's pretty much kind of personal, right? Because
I don't know.
I don't think they are too bad.
They give me a hotspot, though. They give so many people hotspots, though. However, you can get these. Okay, these are £20, and I'll leave a link in the description. It's like a custom place online. So it's like it sticks on here and here, and then you can put them on your head, and your head doesn't touch the headband, and they support your head really well. And these work for Edition XS, the HE6 SE, and the HE400 SE. These are really good, and these make them wearable. So for only £20, you'd say £110, you can fix that issue. So that's kind of one point we could add in there. Build-wise, they're £99. I mean, what would you say build-wise, Emrah, for £99? You say it's good build for £99?
Yeah, for £99, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
That's, it's plastic.
Yeah, it's plastic. It doesn't feel like I personally don't like the feel of that kind of plastic that they use. I don't know why. It's like this sticky kind of plastic stuff, but it's £99, right? But either way, right, it's all about the sound. So for me personally, I think there's elements of the HE400 SE that I quite like. I do think that they've got a little bit of slam in there. They're very low distortion, and they have energy to them. So I feel that if I listen to someone, I could go, right, kick, bass, snare, like macro stuff. I could be like, right, that's how loud my vocal should be. Bass, that's how loud that should be. That should be. Imaging, it's pretty good. Soundstage is a little bit, I kind of don't think the soundstage is very good. It's a little bit smeary in the soundstage for me a little bit. Certain things maybe fall on top of each other a little bit. But I would say that for £99, I could do like the big bulk of mixing on those. What's your opinion, Emrah? What's your opinion in terms of the sound, in terms of like mix translation?
I didn't like the sub and low frequencies.
Yeah, because it cuts off. That's a big issue. If you try and EQ that sub, there's no point. It's not distorted, but it just doesn't sound. It sounds fake, and it just kind of makes everyone murky and shit. It's not for me.
I don't know if it's if you can see it, if I can show it. I don't think I can show it, but you see the planar magnet
Yeah,
is
you can see it.
like that. It's not, should be upside down like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's interesting. So I don't know if it's it makes any difference, but the rest is okay. I mean, for $99, it's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't complain if I paid 99 pounds and just the sound I get is okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
My analogy on the Discord was that if you think about HE400 SE and then you think about, for example, like Arya Organic, for example, right? What HE400 SE is like in comparison is HE400 SE is like watching like a film on a 25-inch screen at 720p. Where with Organics, it's like watching on a 60-inch screen in 4K. The resolution is better, the timbre is better. I could see, I have better imaging, I can have better sound stage, everything. The timbre is better as well. Timbre is something that isn't the greatest. Everything kind of sounds the same. Nothing really sounds that realistic. Like Arya Organic is fantastic for its timbre, but I think in terms of its translation, I would say that you can get what we'd call in Britain is the meat and two veg. So again, you can get most of your levels done with them, but again, you're limited. So in terms of a rating, I would say C. I would give them a C, a limited translation. I think.
Yeah, limited translation is good.
So for £99, if that's what your budget is, I think that you're gonna get they're still bass there and it's clean, really low distortion. So you're not gonna get the subs, but you're gonna get like a bit of slam. You're gonna get a bit of aggression. You're gonna get bass that you can hear that's not coloured. So I'd give it a C.
Maybe these can be used the distortion of the mid range and high end.
Yeah, true. That's a good
because
point.
they are pretty low. So
no, what I would say, I'd say give
as a backup.
Give them a C, and I'll say there could be an extra headphone if you've got headphones very kind of macro dynamic, big picture kind of sound, and you want something that's just like a bit aggressive, is kind of giving you a little bit of energy, and you just want to go right bass, kick, overall levels, is everything sitting right? Yeah, these will probably do the job. So we'll give them a C, which I think's not too bad for £99. Right, so we go from HE400 SE, and then we go up now to those bad boys, the Hifiman Sundara. They have a very soft spot in both our hearts. They were my first proper pair of headphones. Actually, Emrah, they weren't, because Emrah, actually, here's an interesting story. Emrah had the LCDX before he had the Sundara, and he went from LCDX to Sundara, and I remember you posted it all over the Facebook forums, and the LCDX guys were going mental. You can't do that, you can't say that, it's that £1,000 headphone, LCDX, industry standard, Hifiman Sundara. And I think Hifiman Sundara was it 300? It was around that, wasn't it? I think £300 at the time.
350 or something.
Yeah, but in terms of, for me, Sundara are at that, what price are they now, Emrah? Because they have came down, haven't they? Or are they still around 300?
Man, I didn't check because I already had.
Yeah, I think they've came down. I think they're like 200 and odd now. Now, you have the Sundara Open and you have the Sundara closed. I'm just going to put these are a straight up F for mixing. These are straight up F.
They're not recommended.
They sound horrible. You can't fix them with EQ. Everything about them just doesn't really sound right. These are just straight up F. They can't give you hot spot unless you've got them like sat down, like kind of a little bit looser. No matter, even Ed, because we use these for the podcast for tracking, and Ed's always saying to me, can you not just make me an EQ just so they sound a little bit better when I've got people tracking and stuff with them? I'm like, but in terms of the Sundara Open is a completely different beast. Everybody had high hopes for these because the Sundara Open's so revered at its price point.
Yeah.
But Emrah, tell everybody, what was it about the Sundara that made you ditch the LCDX and kind of move to Sundara for years? I mean, Emrah, you have mixed. I mean, it must be in the billions. It must be in the billions of streams that you've mixed on Sundaras. Easy.
Yeah. You are looking at a legend right now.
Yeah.
Because these are pretty good, like pretty good. If you forget about the price performance ratio, these must be the best headphones Hifiman ever produced. They slam hard, they have sub when you boost, and they perfect. You don't even touch to mid range and top end. So they are perfectly flat out of the box.
I just do a sub boost. That's all I do. Genuinely, like, if you go in the Discord,
just-
it's just a sub boost. That's all I do with them.
5 dB sub boost, even 3 dB is enough to make this bad boy sounds good. And the sound stage, interestingly, is way better than LCDX.
100%. Actually, I would say it's better than any Odyssey. Even the MX4s. I'd say the Sundara's got better imaging and sound stage than the MX4s.
It does not have that big sub and kick punch that LCDX provides.
Yeah, the big
They
full
are
sound and bass, yeah.
Yeah, they are bigger, but they have good enough. They have good enough bass response and slam and everything. The only issue with these guys, because you see it's worn already.
Yeah.
The pads just, it lose the shape.
Yeah, I remember I replaced my pads after like a year when I had them.
Yeah. You have to replace the pads, but I didn't do it because it's perfectly fit in my ears, so I don't want to change it. But it's been pretty while since I have been using this. That's why I can highly recommend for those people who are looking for some kind of budget counter magnet.
And I think that weight-wise, again, they're not overly heavy. They're really comfortable.
Yeah.
I found Sundara's really comfortable.
Yeah. They're comfy, no problem, no issues.
Build quality, I never had any issues with the build quality as well.
No issues. It's just working.
So I think in regards to a rating for me, I would put the Sundara as a B, honest. I do think they're very honest. I think they're very honest in the imaging and the sound stage. They do have an element of slam in there. You can get sub in them, low distortion. And that man, honestly, Emrah mixed literally billions of streams. Like when I remember, like whilst before I got the Hifimans, he would be showing me, be like, "Bro, check this out already." Like fucking 2 million streams already mixed on Sundara, mixed on Sundara, mixed on Sundara. So it's definitely a B. Now the thing is that as good as Sundara is, and it will be great. Honestly, like when most people ask me, "What should my first headphone be?" It's normally Sundara. I personally prefer the Sundara over the FT1 Pro. That's my personal opinion. And that's normally the first one I would say. But there is higher quality, and there are certain things that other headphones do better than Sundara. Unfortunately though, when we step up the budget, this is going to be controversial because many people love the Edition XS, which is the next step up. And the Edition XS is like 350 pounds or something like that. But Emrah, get it out. So it's got the headband. Like I can't believe it. Like, come on, Hifiman. Like the Sundara doesn't have that headband. It's got the horrible headband in it. If you see, remember the photo, Emrah? It's got bubble wrap in between the head and the headband. That's how bad it is. It's got that. Yeah. It's got that kind of plasticky kind of feeling to the outside of it. And the good thing with those though is that you can get modifications. So like as I said earlier, you can get these for 20 quid, and it's really easy to do yourself, and the work. But again, they made a different grill for it as well, like the outside grill. They made like stuff like that, and you could change the tuning in them, and they'd be like, oh, you can get them to the tuning to sound a little bit more like Arya Organic and stuff like that, but it doesn't make them sound like Arya Organic. What I find interesting about the Edition XS is that I remember I had a comment, and honestly, and I don't mean to be a dick here, but I'm sorry, but you're going to get it here, mate, right? He was like, the Hifiman Arya Organic was just a more expensive version of the Edition XS. The Edition XS and Arya Organic couldn't be any different. I do not like the Edition XS. I will make that clear right now. Imaging, soundstage, very, very nice. Very nice indeed. Very easy to listen to headphones.
Almost perfect.
Yeah, I could sit them on and go, oh, there's the record. There's the record there. Imaging, soundstage, wow. fantastic. However, here's where the however is. It's got this timbre to it, and I think that's why audiophiles like it. Everything sounds the same to me. If I listen to a John Mayer track, and then I go to like a hip-hop track, and I go to a Jay-Z track, and a Kanye track, and I go to a country track, they all sound the same. They don't have very good microdynamics, they don't have very good speed, and they're very similar to the HE400 SE, where it's got a bit of a roll-off in it, and if you try and get the sub-frequencies, again, it just has that murky thing where it's not really meant to have the sub lifted. The low end is nice, it's kind of clean in the low end, but it's quite punchy in the low end, but the timbre of it and how real the sounds are isn't very realistic to me. I would struggle to them. I remember I had them on a track I was working on, and I was like, I went from Organics to the Edition XS, and I was just sitting there thinking, right, okay, nothing, everything just kind of sounds the same now. Is it, where's my energy gone? Like, where's the punch gone? Where is my dynamics gone? They don't really slam, but they're very easy to listen to. When you first get them on your head, you're like, oh, I can just like sit there with my eyes closed in the sun and just jog along and stuff. But as a mixing engineer, I need good timbre. I need to be able to hear the differences of certain things. They're a little bit forgiving in that aspect for me. But their upside is the imaging, and I think that's what many people love about them. But yeah, for me, I just know I can't trust mixing decisions on them. Maybe it's very, very personal, but energy-wise, they make Arya Organics sound like slamming monsters. And trust me, Arya Organics have a bit of slam in them, but like they're nowhere like if you go from Nanos and MX4s to Arya Organics, you're like, these seem to be a little bit softer. Going from Edition XS to Arya Organics, like, oh wow, these are punching my head off. So yeah, I just feel like they're too forgiving. Even just the sound of them just sounds a little bit synthetic to me. It's just the timbre's not very good in them. What was your opinion, Emrah? What's your opinion of the Edition XS for mixing?
Yeah, I can say that these are the audiophiles' wet dream.
100%. Agreed.
These are fucking good headphones to listening to music.
Yep.
They have really good low end, top end, and mid range. But like as you said, these are trying to make everything sounds good.
Yep.
I mean, honesty is a issue on these.
They're not honest at all. No way.
Yeah, and the comfort wise as well. So I don't like this headband.
Yep.
Okay, it's workable, but the egg shape and the imaging is just fantastic on these.
100%.
Imaging, and I love listening to music on these compared to other Hifimans I have. That's the all things that I can say about this. Yeah. They are not good for mixing headphones.
Yeah, they're just not honest enough. They've just not got all the characteristics that you would need to make good mixing decisions. However, I would say if you have something like the Nanos, right, or something that, is punchy and, gives you a lot of good microdynamics, the Edition XS may be a good headphone for your imaging. It might be good just to make sure that your panning's okay and your reverbs and your depth and your sound stages, separation-wise, everything's where you need it to be. But I think going from, a very good detailed headphone with quite good timbre to a headphone like that might kind of be a bit of a juxtaposition for you. But you can make them work for the imaging side. As Emrah said, as soon as I put them on my head, I was like, wow, the imaging sounds like how records should sound. I was like, this is very accurate imaging and soundstage. But again, the timbre and the energy and the dynamics just let it down. As he said, it's like they're trying to make everything sound good and everything just sounds the same. As a result, we need honesty as mix engineers. So that then would make me I would put it as a C. I'm not. No, what would we say? CD, because D's pure translation. Would we say like a CD, limited translation, pure translation, or would we give it a C?
I would give it a C. By the way, I didn't rate the Hifiman Sundara.
I did. I gave it a B. So what did you? What?
You gave it B, but I will for the price. Just
see for the price, it's an A. It's
for the price.
Yeah.
It's to me is an A all rounder.
I would say, yeah, in that price range, 100% A. And yeah,
Yeah.
so no, what? Yeah, I would say compared to the other headphones that we use, yeah, I'd say it's a B. But in regards to its price, you have to give it an A, because in that price range, there is
Yeah.
nothing else for me that's as much as a good all-rounder as the Sundara Open back. So yeah, we'll give it a C. We'll give the Edition XS a C, limited translation. So we've got the Edition XS, and then we're going to move up again in price to the headphone that Paul Third is probably... it's my fault for putting these so much on the fucking market because the amount of people that have bought them based on my recommendation is crazy. Hifiman Ananda Nanos. Yes, I know. It's going to come to that. They have went down in price. You can pick these up for like 400 and odd quid now. You get them on good deals sometimes. These are, without a shadow of a doubt, the fastest headphones that I've heard on the market. I don't think there is a faster pair of headphones on these. These own the low end, right? Low end sounds accurate. It's tight. It's like listening to like a sealed cabinet, a really good one, where when you EQ them, it's got proper linear response. And by the way, we didn't mention about the EQ tonality-wise in the Edition XS. It actually is quite a good tuning for the Edition XS. It's just that everyone else let it down, so I didn't want to go too much into it. Now, when it comes to these, the Hifiman and Ananda Nanos, yeah, these are monsters when it comes to transient details, when it comes to slam, when it comes to low end, hearing just proper micro dynamics. Build quality is good. It's got a good headband to it, no hot spots. I always find the build quality is good. I have, honestly, these are, now, this is one thing I have to kind of make aware, because build quality is always very important. Now, these are a new pair of Hifiman and Ananda Nanos. I did have them replaced. However, I did have my old pair for 2 years, and they didn't let me down. I mean, they're scruffed to bits. I dropped them countless times. Emrah gets panic attacks when he hears about the way that I am with my headphones, because he really looks after them, but I see them as tools. So yeah, I've had them in my bag, dropped them loads of times. But I think what happened was, when I was testing the HE6 SE, because it's the hardest fucking headphone to drive on the planet, I accidentally had the Nanos plugged in, which meant that they got full whack, fucking like 95% of the topping, like 95 out of 100. So, and again, it was for quite an extended period, and I forgot they were plugged in, because it was only after that I started to get distortion out of the left driver. And so, yeah, they were pretty unusable for me after that. But I do think that was my fault, because I've abused them over the years. And not many people have had any other issues, bar another person on the Discord. I think somebody else had a driver issue with distortion, which could be common in, certain headphones. Sometimes you're going to find that, but it is important to mention. I need to be upfront and completely transparent that, yeah, there might be a slight QC issue, because it might have been me overblasting them, but I think the other person on the Discord has only had them for like 2 months. So that's something to bear in mind. But positives, yeah, like center image wise, fucking mwah, mwah, mwah. They are the headphones that stopped my good friend Ed Thorne. Headphone. He's an headphone. Ed doesn't mix on his PSI sub anymore. He only mixes his low end on Nanos now. And he's moved over to headphones more. As soon as he heard these, remember, he had the PSIs in the PSI sub, and he was like, oh my God, this is how low end should sound. And then as soon as I got them, I got in contact with a rep, and Ed managed to get a pair, and he was like, Paul, I can't put these down. And he just trusts them. And everybody else that's got them understands why we recommend them so much. Because if you want to hear your low end in seconds and just go, right, that's how it should sound, that's right, and you can A, B and stuff, and you just know that your center image, your vocals, your kick, your bass, your snare, slams, dynamics, everything is like tight and just tells you the truth. Sometimes too much of the truth. However, the downside for me, and again, I don't think Emrah struggles with this as much as me, but a lot of other people, including Ed and a few people on the Discord, have found this as well, that with them being so center focused, it's like the side image just sounds like it's here. It's not very accurate. I don't find the imaging very accurate on them, Because anytime I make panning decisions on them, they never translate the way I want them to translate. And sound stage wise, they're very dry. They're very dry sounding headphones because I'm being so fast. So I always find I end up adding in too much reverb, and I try and then add in too much depth when I mix on them. But how I use them is just for the center image. So if I get my drums, bass, vocals done in nanos, I know it's right, and I can just do all the rest in other headphones. And normally I don't need to go back to them. So there is a bit of limited translation in there. And for anybody asking, and I swear to God, Emrah, if somebody else comments this again, but Amir from Audio Science Review, he showed lots of distortion in his measurements, and there's lots of distortion in the mid-range, and you said the low distortion. We have done distortion tests, we have done sweep tests, we have mixed on them, as have many other people. There's a flaw in Amir's testing. Anything that has egg-shaped cups like these, he does not get a good fit onto his grass measurement rig. And if you do not get a good fit on your grass measurement rig, you're going to get distortion. Because what happens is, if you don't get a good seal on these, you actually hear the distortion out of the driver. But when they're on your head, the distortion isn't there. So if I do that, squeeze them, no distortion. I do that, you hear the distortion. It's like, honestly, it's like the bass, the sub of the bass is like, boof, 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 boof. Fucking turns it into a mini subwoofer. So yeah, it's very, very low distortion and very, very, very fast. But also quite on the bright side as well. So I do have a tuning and an EQ for them. That again, I've done it again this week. And I think I've got them to sound the most natural they've ever sounded. And I think it's 3 bands. 3 bands, job done. Other people have tried them and really liked them. So that's my opinions on them. Emrah, your opinions on the Hifiman and Ananda Nano, as it was you that got me into this whole fucking problem in the first place.
I know. I told you that you gotta hear these sub frequencies that these bad boys produce, and I have them here. I don't know if you can see.
I see them. Yeah,
right there, and they are just good. They are just yeah. I mean, I would say the best price performance ratio in every planar magnet headphones to my ears.
Yeah,
they are just so good. They are fast. They are. At first, it was scary because the micro details, too much details. I was like, I couldn't focus on the bigger picture. But once you learn them, if you get low end right on these,
100%.
slam and if you can make these sounds, if you can make your mixes sound fun on these, the translation is funnier outside.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Now, these are really hard to please headphones,
No, it's one of these where if you get them right, you're like, this is right. But if you've got it wrong, it's going to tell you very quickly. I'm not joking you when I say, if I mix on, if I'm on the organics, what I mix on portably, and I'm like, I'm just maybe a little bit unsure about the low end. Within 20 seconds, not even that, 10 seconds, the nanos just go, that, do that. And then within I'd do a minute tweak. And I remember when I was mixing on tons of speakers, I did a whole speaker shootout. I had 2 sets of focals, I had the edifiers, the Calais, and I remember I couldn't get the low end right on the track. And I stuck these on. And within 2 minutes, I had the low end perfect. And I was like, I spent at least half an hour on the speakers, tweaking them, trying to get them sounding right, and I just couldn't get the relationship right. With these, it was 2 minutes, and I got it right and nailed it. You're going to find it hard to get headphones that are as honest as those in the low end. They're very accurate, very honest, very low distortion. They just have a slam to them, but they have an accuracy to them as well. And yeah, I think, for that, as Emrah said, price to performance ratio for what they do in the center channel and the low end, Jesus. And again, they're comfy as well. I find them super comfy to wear as well. Build quality, again, as I said, I've dropped the old pair so many times. So the interesting thing, Emrah, is going to be, what do we... Oh, no, I'd put them a B. They're not an all-rounder. I can never call them an all-rounder. They're honest. I can't call them an all-rounder because I struggle with the sound stage and the imaging, as do many other people that I know. I know you don't because you're a fucking superstar over here. Somehow manages to make Nanos work. Fucking annoys me.
I don't have any issues as you have because I don't have any issues with imaging and stereo imaging and stereo placement. That they are just working. That's why I would rate them all-rounder for the price.
Okay, so
I should tell for the price.
Okay, right. So Emrah's giving them an A. I'm going to give them a B. But again, as I said, horses for courses, right? So Emrah's giving them an A. I'm going to give them a B because they are brutally honest. Like Jesus, you'll struggle to find as much of an honest headphone. But for me, I would need to mix with another headphone, and I did for a long time. Mixed with the HE1000 SEs, and I mixed with a few other sound stagey headphones to make them work because I just couldn't get them to translate right. So A for you, B for me. Right, okay, so now we're going to move to a headphone that Emrah doesn't have, but I do. Because now you can pick these up for like 600 quid. They're kind of basically going discontinued now. But these are the hardest to drive headphones on the planet. The HE6 SE version 2. These are an old headphone. Like this is like pre-Sundara, I'm pretty sure, fucking pre a lot of stuff. These are like baby Susvaras, that's what people call them. Now, I'm pretty sure these were like over $1,000, maybe 1,500 when they first came out. Very, very good driver designed them. But what frustrates me is they're so expensive, but the build quality is terrible. It's terrible build. It's got that headband, the cheap headband that I hate, that I had to buy that for. And even this just feels a bit flimsy and a bit just low quality. It's got that horrible plasticky feel that I don't like. So build-wise, I'm a bit like, kind of feel like these are maybe going to... Okay, it is quite solid, to be fair. That frame is solid, but I don't know. I just... Hear it? Build quality could just be a little bit better for me, personally. But, you'll hear about the sound. Okay, so the hardest headphones to drive on the planet. Now, I can drive these with a FIO K19 or, again, the Hifiman EF600, which is what I'm using. And I like to switch between the OS and the NOS mode, because it makes them sound like two different sets of headphones. But I am predominantly using the oversampling mode in the EF600. Sound-wise, this is where it's going to get controversial, because Emrah's not heard them. I think these are one of the best headphones for mixing that I've heard, personally. They've got the dynamicism of the Nanos. They've not got the speed, but they've got the dynamics. They've got the punch. They've got better bass separation, in my opinion, to Nanos, and they have more sub. It's almost getting to Odyssey territory for me with the sub. It's proper meaty sub with really good low-end separation between kick and bass. The imaging, very, very accurate. Very accurate. Like, getting close to Edition XS accurate. Soundstage accurate. Everything just sounds right. They sound very kind of up front and forward to me without sounding too close. Imaging-wise, it's just like, just accurate to me. Very kind of speaker-like. They still sound like headphones, so they're not like your Arya Organics that we'll get to next. But they just sound very accurate. They tell me everything that I need to hear in 2 bands of EQ. That's it. 2 bands of EQ. That's all I feel I need on them. And I've got all the sub, all the punch. And I don't have the translation issues that I have with the Ananda Nanos. And they give me the energy that I lack with the Arya Organics. And the only downside to them is that you need an absolute monster amp to power them, because I can't use them portably. I'm not a way to fucking carry about that thing in my bag. Impossible. That's just a pain in the arse. So it's a bit disappointing that I can't use them portably. But I think that for, the round headphones that you get, I think the only step up is Susvara for me, for these round headphones. I just think that they kind of take what the HE400 SE is trying to do, but then gives you everything that it's missing and refines it. It's got good resolution, mid-range is nice and clear. They're just really accurate. Very, very, very accurate. I could mix on these solely, in my opinion, and I could genuinely get good mixes out of those. Translation-wise, I think they're great. And I have to give them an A. Okay, the build quality isn't the best for me. It's a little bit cheap, but sound-wise, I just have to give them an A. They're a complete all-rounder for me. Really, really, really good. The bass is some of the best I've heard. As soon as I put them on, I was like, wow, kick bass separation and a really, really clean actual sub. Like, they've not got the speed and the tightness of the Nanos, but they're very punchy still. Very nice slam, really slam. Really, really, really nice. I remember when I put them through the K19, I was like, whoa, it's ripping my head off. But they've got that kind of, they are a little bit on the darkish side, but I quite like that because it means that it's not really trying to do the whole kind of bright sound stagey thing. It just seems, it's focusing me on what's important, which to me, again, is your sub mid-range. You need the top ends there. But yeah, just very accurate, and I'm going to give it an A. And hopefully at one point, Emrah is going to get a chance to listen to them because he does have the amps to be able to drive it, and I think he'll like them. So one day, hopefully, Emrah, I'll be able to try it. So we've got the HE6 SE version 2. I'm going to give that an A. So we're going to step up now, Emrah. We're going to step up to the big guns. Emrah's, staple, and my portable staple as well. The Hifiman Arya Organic. Now, I did all the talking there, Emrah, so let's tell everybody why you love the Arya Organic for mixing and mastering.
I can't hold Arya Organic. It's just
right. I'm going to get it.
Still.
And just so I'm not bullshitting, right? Genuinely, this is because anybody that thinks we're shills and shit like that, this is genuinely my portable setup. So I use the carry case, and as you can see, I always have them. This is genuinely my portable setup, right? So these are the Arya Organics, arguably one of the best looking headphones that you can get. The black is beautiful. The wood finish is lovely. They're just beautiful sounding headphones. The build quality is fantastic. It's got that very premium quality. The only thing I will say that does annoy me, now Emrah doesn't have this problem because he looks after his headphones. Me, I'm messy. So as you can see, I don't know if you will see, see that there? There's like a bit of paint chipped off. So the paint does chip off a little bit easy with it being black. So you have to be careful. You can't just, like, I've got a black marker in the work that I sometimes like touch it up if I can scratch it. So yeah, you have to be a little bit careful if you're like really, really like image conscious. Yeah, sometimes like the black paint can sometimes come off, but don't be as rough as me, right? But yeah, beautiful sounding headphones. Emrah, tell everybody why you love these so much.
Yeah, first of all, the comfort. They are using Hifiman's the best headband.
Yep.
Premium headband.
Yep.
So they are pretty light for being a egg-shaped planar magnet. And they do everything correctly. That's they don't own anything.
No, they're honest.
They do everything.
Brutally honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Not as brutal as the Nanos, but very, very honest.
Yeah. They do everything correctly, and they just the best mixing headphones I have ever used, and in the planar magnet world.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. When I listen to them, the stage is correct. You're just listening to a pair of speakers.
Very, very like speakers.
Imaging is pinpoint imaging.
Yep.
Up and down. Even if you move just a little bit up and down, the image goes up and down. Right?
Yeah.
It's just too accurate. And the low end, you have sub, you have the vibration, you have slam, not slammy like
Nanos, yeah.
The Nanos, right? Nanos is just different beast.
Yeah. As you said, they're fun headphones, aren't they?
Fun headphones, yeah. It's just perfect music production headphones, right? If you're working with music production, I would go for Nanos instead of Arya Organic. But for mixing and mastering, they are just, honest. They are just. I would really rate them S tier, But that would be too much. Yeah, they are king of the mixing headphones to me.
Mm-hmm. Emrah does. At the end of the day, I can't say much because this is what I've mixed the last.
They translate.
Yeah, the last 3 records I've done for clients, I've been on these. and the last one was V1. I got a V1, an EDM V1 accepted on this. Now, the only thing I will say is that they do need quite a bit of EQ. These are a bugger to EQ. Now, I was very fortunate because Hifiman sent me the actual frequency response of my headphones, which vary quite a lot from like Squiglink and like auto EQ and stuff. So the EQ that I've got, it takes a little bit of EQing for me to get them right. And mine and Emrah's EQs are different. But it's still quite a few bands that we use. Not like fucking daft, but they're very bright stock, man. Like if you think the Nanos are bright stock, these are like fucking rip your head off stock. Like there'll be times like if I've got real phones on, I just use it for the EQ and I switch it off by accident or on bypass. I'm like, oh my god, is this how bright these headphones are? They're like so incredibly bright. But with the right EQ, and again, you can get that EQ on our Discord that you can join if you become a channel member of this channel. With the right EQ, you can get really nice sub in these. Something that, see, like when you listen to the Edition XS and you switch to these, both EQ'd, you just hear that sub of the Arya Organic. It's got good sub retrieval. It's not the HE6 SE, and it's not, Odyssey MX4 LCDX, but it's there. It's sub, and you can EQ it, and it's there, and you can hear it. As Emrah said, imaging and soundstage wise, they are probably the most speaker-like that I've heard. The stage and scene is basically perfect. The right distance from you. Ed Thorne, when he heard them in my studio when he came to Scotland, he said they sounded very much like his Amphions. He was like, wow, these sound really Amphion-like. And obviously, everybody knows in modern day times, Amphions are like translation kings in the industry just now. So that is, again, a very high recommendation. But one thing about these that I do struggle a little bit with, and again, as I said, I'm still getting mixes accepted, just mixing on these. But it's the energy of them. They're not relaxed. Like when we say relaxed, we mean like, FIO FD1 Pro to me, to Emrah, it'd be like, Sennheiser HT650. That's like relaxed.
They're not laid back.
They're not laid back.
Relaxed.
Yeah, they're not laid back, relaxed. But energy-wise, they are like just a little bit more reserved. Again, I think reserved is a little bit better. Like Nanos, for example. Nanos walk in the club like, fucking let me in. Poof, 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 poof. These are like, can I get in the club, please? Like, I'm wearing the right shoes. Can you not see I look great? Look, just let me in the club. Okay, and you come. They're not. They're just kinder version.
Correct,
of kinder.
Nanos,
yeah, that's
right?
where I was kind of going. So they are honest. That's the thing I like about them, is that especially if you get the right EQ on them, I don't find them honest stock. They're way too bright. But with the right EQ for these, because they've got the scene and stage and image of speakers, you can just make decisions on them and they translate. That's the thing. And even still, like when I did the EDM mix, I knew, okay, I need to make these a little bit more punchy. This record needs it. So it still had enough energy for me to gauge it, where I was like, yeah, okay. I sent it to the client, and the client was like, yeah, this is exactly what this record should sound like. This is amazing. So again, it told me that. It's just that you need to think, it's the energy side of it doesn't come as easy. With the Nanos and certain in the HE6 SE, you don't even need to think about it. You're just like, okay, there's the energy. That's what I need to do. That's fine. You do need to think a little bit more with these. They do have a bit of slam in them. But I think what I struggle with sometimes is that they've got arguably some of the best timbre of any headphone I've ever heard. And by timbre, we mean that things sound realistic. So like Edition XS, everything just kind of sounds the same. Things sound very realistic on these, man. The timbre is incredible. Where I can listen to some Dua Lipa stuff and I'm like, Jesus, this almost sounds like an acoustic live performance. That's how incredibly honest the timbre is. But sometimes that organic nature can make me feel a bit, I don't know, it's almost sometimes like it's a bit too honest, and I'm like, oh, this sounds a bit too real for me. You know what I mean? Even like more realistic than like speakers and stuff. Yeah, very impressive headphones, and they just translate. And as well, they're quite easy to drive as well. For me, they're easier to drive than the Nanos. They require less current because they don't have those upper proper microdynamics. They do have microdynamics in there, but what I'd say about organics is that they're maybe the right I think that's what Emrah likes about them. I think that they're probably the right balance of microdynamics. You've got microdynamics, you've got macrodynamics, you've got big picture, you've got small picture, but not too much. It's just the right amount of each, and it tells you the truth. So, yeah, I'm going to put them A, because S has got to be on the money, man. I'm going to say A. They're 100% all rounders, verging on S. They're verging on endgame. Verging.
For example, on the low end translation, Nano's like, you fucking idiot, your low end is wrong, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like that, but organic is more like you may want to check it, because I don't accept that kind of low end, that kind of low end. I wouldn't accept that. It's just more kind.
Yeah, I agree.
Not forgiving, but it's just dealing with you in a kind way.
Yeah, I agree.
Not like Nanos, right?
Yeah.
You fucking idiot, your low end is wrong.
which is what we like about them. So yeah, put A for that. Translation, 100%. I cannot, not recommend them for mixing, because we both use them. It's impossible for me to not recommend them. I think
I will say A too.
Yeah, A definitely. So we'll mention one headphone only very quickly, because I just remembered that Emrah does have the Ananda Stealth. Very quickly, Emrah, just give me what your opinions of the Ananda Stealth, because many people will be like, well, Ananda Nanos, what about the Ananda Stealth? They are very different sounding headphones, aren't they, Emrah, for what you told me?
Nanos are better headphones than Ananda Stealth V3 I have.
Yeah, version 3.
Version 3. They are good. They are they have low end, they have sub, they have everything,
Yeah.
It's just it's not that it doesn't have that speed of Nanos or Arya Organic. It's just a little bit, to me, it sounds a little bit older.
No, okay.
It's just a tired,
So where would you put the Ananda Stealth? What rating would you give them?
I would rate it for B.
Honest. So again, the Ananda Stealth has still got a bit of honesty in there. So now here's a good question: Ananda Stealth or Sundara? If you had a choice, price out the way, which one would you choose?
Man, that's a hard question.
I love it.
It's just a hard question. Because it's like I will feel like I'm cheating on them. On Sundara.
So I take it it's close then. I take it's a close between the two of them.
It's pretty close. But if you want to, the egg shape, the stereo image, the accuracy of the image and the egg shape benefits, it's way different than the circular, round headphones. So I will take the Stealth V3.
So right now, if somebody's thinking, because I'm pretty sure Ananda Stealth's around 600. Would you say that for somebody that doesn't maybe have the money of organics, because organics are coming in at close to £900, £1,000, dependent on the retailer. Say if like Stealths are 600 and organics are like 1,000, would you advise somebody to like save their pennies and go for the organics, or would you say Stealths would be enough to get the mixes done?
They are good enough to make mixes done, but if they can save more, a few months more, why not?
Yeah.
There's no point. Or Nanos, they can go, in a parallel version of.
Yeah, and the Nanos are cheaper as well. Right, so we're nearly at the end of the video. Now, there is another pair of headphones, the most expensive Hifimans that I own, which are these £3,000 pair of Isvarnas closebacks. They have a sub in them. This is going to have a separate review, because I want Emrah to get a hold of them. I need him to get a hold of them, because I do genuinely think that these could be S tier end games. They are crazy. Emrah's like, he doesn't even want to look at them because he really wants to try them. But
just take it away.
But look, that's going to get a review when Emrah's got a chance, because it needs EQ'd a very specific way, because it's dual driver and the crossovers and stuff. But I think if I have a bit more time with them and I do a few more records on them, they could be maybe S tier, maybe. But, right, the last headphone that I've got, and again, this is at basically the top of the tree for nearly most people. We've not got Sundara's, but I wouldn't advise anybody to buy Sundara's for mixing, because it's just so much money when you can get Arya Organics. So I have these ones. Now, anybody that's watched my channel will know a lot about these. These are my babies. Okay, these have a soft place in my heart. There's the HE1000 SEs. Fucking beautiful headphones as well. They really are. The wood finish is so nice. Build quality is just nice. Everything is just fucking... I love them. I love them. They're like one of my children. Now, the thing with the HE1000 SEs is that if you were to ask me, Paul, what would you say are the best sounding headphones on the planet? I'd say these, in my personal opinion. If you were to ask me, Paul, what are the best headphones for mixing in your studio right now, because I've not had enough time with this far now, it would be a shot between HE6 SE and the Organics. It would be, either one. I adore these. These have got the best resolution, the best imaging and soundstage of any headphone. It's just that it's too much of a good thing. They're too good. They're not realistic enough to speakers. There is no speaker on the planet that sounds as good as these. Now, the thing with these is that they have a really good place for mixing. It's just that it's too much of a good thing. Like Emrah's analogy is like driving a Ferrari on a bumpy road, like trying to mix with them and trying to force them to do certain things. Like for Emrah, these are like, get a glass of whiskey out and listen to music on them and just get immersed in it. They're immersive headphones. They've got the best separation of any headphone I've ever heard. Like if you think that, the Sennheiser HD 800 or whatever it is, sound good, these are more realistic. Like when I have these on, they do sound like a pair of speakers, but like the best pair of speakers in the world. However, they are relaxed, and that's what's a little bit, you got to be careful with them. I wouldn't say they're forgiving in certain ways, but they've still got transients, they've still got punch, they've still got low end, and the sub's really nice on them. Again, I EQ'd these again, and again, you could, because the driver technology is so good in them, you can get the sub in them. But compared to Nanos, they don't have the slam. They don't really slam, do they, Emrah? They're not really a slam headphone. But, if you're looking for resolution, you're looking for separation, you're looking to hear stuff in records you've never heard before, to the point where you could say, oh my God, I can hear that little instrument there, right there, it's right there, and I could hear it clear night as day. It's like that. When MSM tried them on, when I went to his studio in London, he was like, Paul, I've never heard my mixes so tall and wide. He's like, I don't know what to do with this. It's like they're impressive. And he's like, these are arguably the best resolution of any headphone I've ever heard. And by resolution, it's like everything sounds so realistic, but so unbelievably detailed, where reverb tails resolve accurately. So if you have a reverb tail and it just go psh, and the Nanos will go psh, and these will go psh, and you'll hear that down to the very last detail. Oh, I love them. If you were to say to me, Paul, which headphone would you choose to listen to music on? It'd be these. Big picture, these. But for mixing, that's where I have to pass on to my good friend Emrah. Emrah, why do you not mix on these glorious sounding headphones?
A short answer, there is no song that deserves these headphones to mix on.
They're that good sounding, aren't they? They are that good.
Yeah. Saying it's just, I like to use them when I want to enjoy music. When I'm working on music, I don't enjoy using them because I don't need that smoothness, the perfection, the resolution. It's like magnifying glass on everything.
100%, yeah.
It feels like I'm wearing them off. It's just I just want to put them on a box, and when I'm gonna have a really good scotch, a whiskey, then I want to enjoy those headphones. I don't recommend them for studio usage. That's it.
It's amazing because what's amazing is that I would never ever thought there was a headphone that he liked that much that he puts them on that much of a pedestal where he's like, they're too good for mixing. It's almost like they're like the snob's headphone. They're like, yes. It's like upper class echelons. Like, I don't mix. Now you can mix on them. Like, I did it for fucking years. Because soundstage wise, big picture wise, I do still like them. Where here's the thing, right? See if something there's like HD 650 is very forgiving. However, see if something doesn't sound right on these, I know something doesn't sound right. Like big picture wise, I'm always like, okay, that's not right. I'll always say to Ed if I listen to these and I'm like, yeah, the bass is too much there. Oh yeah, that's too much there. And he'll be like, how do you know? I was like, because it should sound perfect on these. A mix should sound perfect on these. You should be immersed. It should be like, holy shit, like, wow, this is like, everything's around me and everything's there. It's just, it's an experience. Now, like, what I find is that I do enjoy them for imaging and like placing stuff. But what can happen is because you've got so much separation and so much of a good thing, you then start to overanalyze stuff that not many other people can hear. So because it's, like, think the way I see these separation wise is like, think about you've got your panning, right? And you've got, say, you've got like left 100, right 100, and say like you've got 55 to 60, right? You're wanting to put something like left and left between 55 and 60 on, say, like odd ZM 500s, like 55 and 70 feel like the same thing because they're so narrow. With these, 55 and 60 is just like, it's like I've just got a magnifying glass and I can see 55.1, 55.2, 55.3. I can see every single bit of separation, which means that I then overlay, try and place things to an inch of their life because I've got that separation. So because I can hear it, I can go, but that can go there and that can go there. And then I then start to over perfect things and I start over analysing it and then I start second guessing myself when I listen to another pair of headphones and I'll be like, I can't really hear what I just did. But when I've got them on here, I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect there and that sits there and sits there. It's like too much of a good thing. It's like if you master them, they can tell you everything that you need to know in your image and your soundstage while still having punch, while still having low end. But yeah, they don't really slam. Like, see if these slammed, I would say these would be S tier, Emrah. If these had like the slam of nanos and still managed to give you all the resolution and shit, these would be S tier. This would be like fucking... But know what? He'd probably still keep them in a case. He's like, no, I mixed on something shit here. No, bro. This is king. No. We don't treat kings like that.
No, I'm just gonna rate them F. Do not recommend.
You bitch. You know what? We're done. No, we're actually, our relationship is done. You bitch. I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to protect those headphones. Right. Just, man, you don't want to use them in a studio.
Right. Let me see. What was my ratings again? Like, realistically, what am I going to rate them on? Because they don't, energy wise, yeah, there's certain parts of translation. I'm going to give them a B. They're honest. Maybe perhaps too honest. Not honest enough in the way that, it's not C, it's not limited translation. Like, I could mix on these and get good translation. It's just that energy-wise, they're a little bit like organics. Here's the thing, right? Organics sit in the middle of these, I find, where organics has not, because then many people have said, oh yeah, organics have got the image of the HEs. They don't. They really don't. Organics are narrower, but they're still wide enough to sound like speakers. These just sound incredibly wide. And look at that. You can have the biggest head in the world, Emrah. You can absolutely no problem. Look at that.
It's like you are in the world, and when you wear them on the HE 1000 SE, it's like you're going to the space, right? You are not belong to the world anymore. They're just too good to be true.
Yeah, know what? I'd say that's the best way to put it. They're too good to be true. If a pair of speakers sounded like these, they would cost like 20, 30 grand. Hands easy, maybe fucking 40 grand. Yeah, they just sound incredible. I can use them and I do like them. But I understand why Emrah would feel that it is too much of a good thing, because it is just almost like perfection in many ways. But they do lack a little bit of energy. They are a little bit laid back and relaxed, as I've heard Susvara is as well. And the thing is, when you have something that's laid back, what can happen is that you don't really get your energy right. You know what I mean? You don't really know when to push things and really kind of right, these need a bit of energy. Where these are like, no, it's all right. Sit back, have another whiskey. Now just make that reverb tail a little bit more there. Put a little bit more reverb. Make it a little bit wider. Yeah. Let's enjoy music. Let's enjoy life. But when you're like dealing with a hip hop track, you know what I mean? You just like need to make the shit slam. So yeah, I would say it's not end game. I'd say it is honest. Maybe a bit too honest in certain ways. I love them to their core. I've thought about selling them sometimes just because I'm not using them for mixing as much. But nah, I love them. I've got them in the Atmos room now. So when people are listening to Atmos stuff, I like to then get these on just as another kind of.
And they are the most comfortable.
Oh, they're so comfy.
Hifiman we have had today.
Yeah, build quality, weight wise, comfort.
Even better headband with it holds.
Incredible. I know, incredible.
Yeah, just take it out.
Yeah, Emrah's like, put it back where it lives. Put it back where it lives.
After this recording, I'm going to put them on and I'm just going to listen to music.
Right, so there you have it, right?
You're just teasing me.
No, there you have it. There you have it, right? I'll stop teasing you. Or should I? I mean, I could tease you even more, Emrah. Just look.
Oh, come on.
The subs.
I don't want to look.
Look at the subs. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. Right. Okay, we'll leave it there. Oh, I can't even get that back on the holder. Right. We'll leave it there. And yeah, that's our tiered list. Please don't ask us if there's any more Hifimans that we've tried, because we've given you all the Hifimans that we've got and we've tried. We've covered most of the range from budget to expensive. That's our honest opinion. Again, leave your opinions down below if you're a mix engineer. Please don't give audiophile opinions, because we're not interested. It's a mixing channel. So please share your opinions based on mixing and translation results. And if possible, can you please share your mixes? Please. Opinions are worthless unless you can fucking, hear people's mixes. If you want to hear Emrah's mixes, links in the description. If you want to hear my mixes, links in the description to my website, where you can hear the organic mixes. You could hear stuff I've done in the HEs and nanos and blah de blah de blah. So yeah, wow, it's been a long night, Emrah, hasn't it? It's been a long night. Yeah, 2 videos in one night, Jesus. But yeah, we knew this is what you wanted. That's our opinions. That's our ratings on a lot of Hifiman headphones. My name's Paul Third. That's Emrah Celik. And we'll call it a night there. Godspeed.
See you.